Skull friends. So a little bit about what's going on right now in Mortal Online 2 is a huge complaint is the queue and people saying that Star Vault is unprepared for this game, unprepared for this game's launch, and simply just don't have the resources to deal with the high influx of players that are coming in. Now, let's put this into quick perspective. Star Vault, from what I was able to research, has about 11 employees, and they're a small developer doing an MMO. Now, MMOs aren't the easiest thing. We can take this from Frozen Byte, a company that just recently released Starbase. Now, Starbase was a hopeful game, sci-fi, expansive MMO with a lot of really cool features. And honestly, I was hyped for it. But upon its release, it was review bombed to hell, and it was so shoddy and crappily put together that the developers were definitely not prepared for what was about to happen. And simply there was login queues, there was things crashing, people could not get into the game, and this lasted for about 2.5 weeks until finally things stabled out. But there were still so many bugs that they were unable to handle it. They're a small team, I'm pretty sure around the exact same mark as Star Vault. Now let's put something into another perspective. Let's take Star Citizen, for example, with its insane amount of funding and its large company who's working on a very large scale MMO with insane everything. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and rant about the damn game. It's a good game, but it has its issues. A lot of issues. And what we can gather from here real quick is that MMOs are not the easiest things to make. Now going back, everyone's complaining about the queue. In Steam, all the reviews are very negative about the queue, not being able to get in, not this, can't do that, crashing, doesn't run properly. Of course, it's an MMO developed by a very small company, and you can use the, oh, well, they came out with an MMO before, they should be really well tailored to this. MO1 wasn't the best game in the world, and I think we need to come to terms with the fact of that. But it was still their first successful MMO that they created. In fact, I only think there's 3 games that they've made. It's MO1, a game named Kittened, which is a VR game, and MO2. There's nothing else in between. These guys just jumped onto the horse and kept riding until they at least got somewhat of a successful goal. There's a lot of things you really got to worry about here, though. It's a very small company and they're struggling to keep up with a lot of their people. Now, there's a lot of other complaints on Steam reviews, and I know I'm kind of getting all over the place with this little bit of commentary on MO2 and the company's handling of everything. There's complaints about the servers being based in London and how NA people have, a lot of struggles with latency and ping and all that other garbage. And there's also complaints about a subscription fee. Now, these guys aren't taking huge funding like Star Citizen is. Really, they're not. They don't have it's like $600 million now in their funding. They don't have that in their pocket to be able to spend. They have 11 dudes, which I'm pretty sure a few of them are community managers that are working on this, and that's it. They're taking all their resources that they have and pouring it into this. These guys ain't rich. These guys ain't Cloud Imperium Gaming. Not raising a huge fundraiser on Kickstarter, not the largest fundraised game on Kickstarter. These guys are different, and they're struggling, and they're having a hard time dealing with this. Any MMO you're going to get into, I don't care what you say, nothing has a flawless launch. Get that through your thick skulls. Nothing has a flawless launch. Nothing. Nothing's perfect. Nothing comes out of the gate amazing anymore. It's 2022, and people release EAs constantly, or alphas constantly. Nothing's perfect anymore. Nothing's like Battlefront 2 where you got the CD and it was the golden image and that's it. There was no updates. You had no access to the internet. You just threw it in your little Xbox and you played it. There was no problems. There was no bugs. It was fully tested out. But now we have a different scope of gaming where we have these large scale MMOs and these companies that are just a small group of developers trying to push out something that is so that they can be somewhat successful. Nothing's perfect. Get that through your heads right now, because there's so many people sitting here going, yeah, these guys should have been more prepared for this. Yeah, there's like 10,000 people. These guys were probably just expecting maybe about 2,000 people in here. They weren't expecting the influx of this. And this always happens on Steam. A game will release at like 9K, 10K players, and then it'll drop down to about 50% of that. That's the trend. All right. Well, with Starbase, it was different. It dropped down to about 100 players now. You can see how much of an astronomical failure that was, and that's on the devs' part, not anyone else's. And of course, that game got reviewed bombed like crazy. Not saying it's a bad game, it's a good game, but the developers just handled it wrong. Now, what we can see here is Star Vault's struggling to kind of keep up with this madness, right? And I want you guys to take something from this, and it's real quick. Stop review bombing the game. I don't care if you had a bad time with it on launch. Nothing's perfect. It's a friggin' MMO. All right? There's a lot of coding and shit that's involved with getting two players. It doesn't matter if it's in a 3D realm or a 2D realm. Let's take 2D realm for a second. It's just getting two boxes to communicate with each other is not easy. All right? It's an MMO. Deal with it. I do have a problem with the subscription fee. You know what? I'm going to pay it. I'll deal with it. I'll pay it until I get tired. But these guys are trying. They're a small group. Give them a damn chance. If you go to Steam and you keep reviewing this as negative, you're going to make it so bad that no one in their right mind is going to touch this game who's a new player. You're just going to have veterans. You're just going to have the old people who are playing in the alpha. You're just going to have people who are used to the game and no new influx of players. I understand you feel jaded and you feel upset from this launch. I feel the same way that I can't get into the game and have fun. I understand, guys. I really do. I'm one of them. All right, I'm one of them in the queue. I rerolled 3 times because I'm bored. I'm one of them. But there's a difference. Leave the game, get your refund, come back to it. Don't review bomb it. Understand that MMOs, they are a difficult task. I don't care how successful you might think MO1 was. MO2 is a completely different horse. Wait and see what happens. If the developers suddenly drop the ball and say, sorry, we're only letting 2,000 people into the server, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Then you could start review bombing them. But sitting there after the first day, struggling to get in, and then putting a review right on Steam that says, could not get into the game, shitty game. What is that garbage? Why are you doing this? You're just making it harder for these developers to be successful. They're not doing anything malicious. They're not. They're not doing this maliciously. They're trying. I can understand some people also bring up some garbage about Discord and being muted because you're saying a whole bunch of garbage in general chat and you're upset. But listen, Discord's completely separate. Let's just take that and put it on a shelf. Complain about Discord and the community managers all you want. I don't care. It's the game and its reviews on Steam and people being impatient and entitled. They're not charging you for your monthly damn fee. Get used to it. They're not. They're giving you that leeway so they get their game fixed. They said it. They're getting their game fixed. Anyways, guys, Solar Polar Bear here. Stay humble. Stay patient. Take a breather. Go touch some grass. Stay frosty.